Welcome to Gene and Mike do the New York Times crossword.
Hi, I'm Jean.
And I'm Mike. And today we are doing the crossword for Thursday, June 12th, 2025. So, on the day before Friday the 13th.
Ooh, Friday the 13th Eve.
Did you do the crossword?
I did.
And as sort of a compensation in terms of luck, did you find yourself fortunate to have solved this crossword?
I did.
Oh, yes?
Yes. It took me a while.
Oh.
But I did get it done, yes.
What was the, what slowed you down?
Well, of course, it was the theme.
Gasp.
But once I figured out what was going on, then it wasn't so bad.
Yes. Yeah, the theme was quite tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we get right into that?
Okie doke. Well, there were 3 themed clues, and they went vertically. So that also kind of threw a monkey wrench in for me, because they usually go horizontally, but they were down themed clues. And I'm going to do the revealer first, because that really sets it up. And that was 50 across, major basketball feat, or a feature shared by the 3 themed clues. And that was quadruple double.
Yes.
Which I researched. That is when a basketball player achieves at least 10 out of, I think it was 4 of the things they can do in basketball. You know, they can points, rebounds. I can't remember all the other things. Assists, blocks in a single game. They have to get 10 or more in 4 of the 5 major statistical categories.
10 or more points?
10 or more points,
okay.
10 or more rebounds, 10 or more assists, 10 or more steals, or 10 or more blocks.
This sounds...
4 out of the 5.
Sounds very complicated. It's a good thing I'm not a basketball referee.
It is very difficult. Only 4 players have done it in the history of the NBA. Mm-hmm. And one of them was mentioned in the clue, and that was Hakeem Olajuwon. And the others were Nate Thurman, Alvin Robertson, and David Robinson. So anyway, that is that was the theme clue, and the kind of the sort of accessory clue, I guess you'd say, it was 38 down, where it was NBA great Hakeem, who is one of only 4 players ever to achieve the 50 across, which was the quadruple double. But what the quadruple double was in this crossword was in each of the themed clues, we had 4 double letters, 4 sets of double letters in each of the answers. And, of course, since it was a Thursday, they put the double letters in a rebus, which made it extremely hard to figure out what was going on. But once you figured out, oh, they're in a rebus, then it wasn't so bad. So the first one was 3 down, and that was temporarily established panel, which was ad hoc committee. And so we had, of course, the double M, double T, and double E in committee. And with the C of ad hoc and the C of committee had a double C. So there were four pairs there. And then 6 down, you can go anywhere with one of these. And that was an all access pass. So double L's and double C, and then 2 pairs of double S's. I got that. That's where I kind of figured out the theme, because 14 across was weeping giant. And I thought, that's got to be a weeping willow. But there were only 5 boxes. And I had the WI and the OW with the 1 box empty in between. I'm like, it's got to have 2 L's in it. So I put 2 L's in it. And then after that, I was like, oh, and that has to have 2 C's in it. Oh, and that has to have 2 S's. So anyway, that's where I figured out the puzzle. And then 9 down, gridiron game for young tykes. And that was Pee-wee football. So you had P, double E, wee, double E, foot, double O, and ball, double L. So, anyway, that was the theme. It was a good Thursday theme, I think. You know, it was certainly challenging. Certainly made the puzzle more challenging.
Right.
But once you got it, then it kind of wasn't so bad.
Yes. I thought the themed answers were, and the themed clues were quite good.
Yes.
I did especially like 20 across. They draw people, mechas.
Yes.
Because I was like, okay, how am I going to get a caricaturist into 5 letters? And I just didn't think I could do it.
Right.
And then we had 22 across. Principle of parsimony philosopher was Occam.
That's right.
One of my favorites.
Well, and another one of your favorites, 32 across. She was named U.S. Soccer Female Player of the Year 5 years in a row. Mia Hamm.
Yep.
And then the double M went into her name. So, of a committee. Yep. So,
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a fun crossword, I thought. I liked some of the other clues. I liked 4 across playground, and that was stage.
Yes.
Maybe a little on the obvious side, but still fun. 9 across, edible part of okra was pod.
Pod, yes.
I will just take the constructor. That would be Daniel Bodley's word for it.
Oh, yes.
18 across, this was blank Wister, the so-called father of Western fiction, and it was Owen.
Owen.
Had you ever heard of Owen Wister?
I have not, but I'm not much into Western literature genre. So.
I sort of did a little bit of research, and he was actually a very highly educated person who went out west because he was suffering from something, and they thought it would be better if you went out west. Not quite sure what exactly the West had to offer, but what it did offer was lots of opportunities for him to write novels. And so he wrote quite a few. But I mean, he wrote operas, he wrote plays,
Wow.
he did all sorts of things. He was not just the father of Western fiction, but that's what he got tagged for because he wrote The Virginian, which I guess was a biggie.
Yeah. That turned into a TV show.
It became a play. It might have become a musical. I'm not sure. I'm waiting for Disney to re-release it.
I don't know if they release The Virginian.
The Virginian, starring Snow White and the 7 cowboyettes. I don't know.
So I liked 40 across. Owned up. Fest.
Yes.
Fess up.
Yep. And then next to that, we had 41 across. Blank are like sausages. It is better not to see them being made. Quote attributed to Otto von Bismarck, and that was laws.
Right.
I thoroughly believe in that.
Well, it gets pretty messy, I've heard. So
59 across was hold your horses, and I thought, whoa, but it turned out to be wait.
Yes.
I don't know if horses understand wait. I think you have to just go, whoa. I mean, I never saw like John Wayne say, wait to his horse.
Hey, stop.
Cease. Cease and desist.
I suppose if you trained it to stop on wait, it would, but I think they mostly get trained with whoa.
If the horse turns to you and say, how are you spelling that? Then you know you've been out in the hot, hot sun too long as the cowboy. 57 across was Sephora competitor Ulta.
Ulta.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Sephora shows up in some stores, right?
Yep. Kohl's.
Kohl's. Where does Ulta show up?
Ulta stands alone.
Really?
Sephora stands alone in some stores too. I mean, they have their own stores, but then they are also found in Kohl's.
Because I was reading up on Ulta, and I guess I'm sure all businesses have problems, but they were being sued for lying about not reselling their products after like they've been used or something. I don't know. Sounded pretty grim there, but
yeah. Wow.
We had the educational part of the crossword, 64 across. The Titanic disaster partly inspired its invention, and the answer was sonar.
Yes.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, right. And then next to it, 65 across, org that developed the pumpkin suit. And that was NASA.
Yes. I don't know what the pumpkin suit is, but
well, you see a bunch of astronauts and they're wearing orange, right?
Well, that's true. Yeah, maybe
that's the pumpkin suit.
I guess so.
I don't think they wear them in outer space. I mean,
no,
they aren't air. They leak air like the Dickens, as it were.
No, but they just maybe wear them on the shuttle or whatever.
45 across I thought was cute. It was some hot spots, and it was tubs.
Tubs, yes. And that crossed with 43 down. Big thing in California? Sir.
Yes.
Big sir.
Yep, that was good.
Yep, very good.
We had right next to that, this is where I ended up, 48 across, phys or chem. And I sort of ignored the or, and I thought I was thinking plural, so I went subs, as in subjects.
Oh, yeah.
And
I had trouble with that one, too, yeah.
Well, because it crossed 38 down, which I certainly didn't know, and even now I don't think I can pronounce Olajuwon.
No, Olajuwon.
Olajuwon, that J was, the J eluded me, because it's just like, I have no idea who this is, so Olusewan sounds just as good from my perspective. So, and then we had actually 48 down was also cute. City that's an anagram of Salem was Selma.
That's right.
Interesting observation there.
And the next one, 49 down, farmers squeeze, udder.
Yeah. little on the too corny there. I mean, they're farmers, I understand, but still. 54 down, Tuscaloosa's tied to fans was Bama.
Bama.
I was going to say Bama, but I guess Bama. Right.
And 56 down in the news. High point of a trip to Italy. Etna.
Yes.
Etna, which is erupting right now.
Right. So probably you don't want to get close to that high point.
No, I don't think so. Not a good day to climb Etna.
All right. Well, this was a fine crossword.
Yes.
Just the theme really was amazing. I'm sure constructing it must have been very difficult.
Oh, yes.
And it was by Danley Bodley, his 14th New York Times crossword.
Very good, Dan.
And his 5th Thursday, his favorite day of the week.
Very good.
That is it for today.
Okay.
We'll be back again with our cutting edge analysis of tomorrow's crossword tomorrow.
Bye-bye.